Hey, what's up, Improvement Warrior? Jason Yun back with you again. Welcome back to Improvement Warrior Podcast. We have made it to episode 90, where we're going to discuss how basically everything is going to shit. Or everything is going according to plan as the elites want it. So we'll get into more of that. But if this is your first time here at Improvement Warrior Podcast, this is an alternative health podcast. We talk about things like circadian rhythm, mitochondria, hormones, sleep optimization, trying to translate Jack Kruse's work into translatable stuff for the average person. And we still talk about fitness nutrition, just in a circadian way, because the timing of everything is the most important thing in your body. And that's the topic of today, is that they want to make daylight savings time permanent. So we'll get into the details of that, but first, what's also going on, I am watching an awesome documentary by Jason Christoff, and I highly recommend every single person watch it. It is completely free. You just need to enter your email. It is called planetmindcontrol.com. So planetmindcontrol.com. Just finishing up. It's about an hour, 10-minute documentary, but it basically shows you how we're being manipulated and how easy it is to manipulate one person or the masses. So, planetmindcontrol.com. I'll be watching it probably 2 or 3 or 4 times. It is really good. So, highly recommend it. Get on that as soon as you can. But otherwise, other things that are going to crap is today, it was either Congress or the Senate or the House of Representatives. They voted to merge the American military with the Israeli military. So, yeah, that's just, it's absolutely insane. But, when you understand that the United States is a corporation, and the business of corporations is to make money and make profits, and the military is it's number one. That's why we're always at war with other countries, always in disputes with other countries, and other countries are in disputes with other countries, and it's just a cycle of life. War brings in money and all that stuff. And what I recently learned was that the Prime Minister, Netanyahu, or however you pronounce it, he's not even Israeli. His father was born in Poland, and I think his original name was Milus. I don't want to pronounce that, but something Miliscu or something like that. But yeah, just goes to show you that the whole world is a stage, and if you're not paying attention, you are going to fall for it. So planetmindcontrol.com, so you can actually see what's going on and all that stuff. So one thing that they covered in depth was the 3 biggest mind control things in movies and television. So number 3 was the demasculization of men. So just basically weak ass men. Okay, so they're getting away from the Rambo types, the Arnold types, the Jean-Claude Van Dammes and Chuck Norrises and Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry, all that stuff, and just replacing it with weak men. And then number 2 was alcohol. And then number 1 was coffee. And then you can see basically all this stuff in most, especially today, you can see the signs and symbols for all that stuff. But I digress. So again, if it is your first time here, make sure you are on the newsletter, or if you're not on the newsletter, make sure you're on the Improvement Warrior newsletter, improvementwarriorfitness.com/NL. But otherwise, let's get into the podcast, and let's talk about this permanent daylight savings time. So on July 14th, 2026, the Sunshine Protection Act was passed. So it passed the House of Representatives. Now it goes to the Senate floor, where it's going to be voted on to become either pass and become a law or not. It was a 308 to 117 vote. Okay, so again, it goes on to the Senate. They vote, and then if that passes, it goes on to Trump. So, and then he has explicitly said that he thinks it is a very, very good idea, and we'll get into some reasons why he is agreeing with that. But basically, what this does, and I'm sure you've seen, you've probably seen my post every or twice a year about how daylight savings time sucks. Okay, but this would be even more sucky because it would basically permanently, your time, your biology would stay 1 hour rolled forward. So your circadian rhythm would stay 1 hour out of sync, basically. So it'd be like you're losing 1 hour of sleep every single day. Okay, solar noon would be closer to 1 p.m. Or it would change throughout the year, but it would stay closer to 1 p.m. rather than it would stay on permanent daylight savings time, or permanent standard time, it would stay closer to noon. Okay, they have attempted this move before. In 1974, Richard Nixon made this law the permanent daylight savings time, but within a few months, it was repealed. Because once people got into the winter, it's like, hey, we don't like going to school, going to work at 8:30, 9 a.m., and it's still freaking dark. Okay? So that was repealed very, very fast. And that was supposed to be a 2-year experiment. But within a few months, no, bye-bye. So, yeah, so basically, where I am, winter sunrise would be around 8:30. More north, more western, it would be even later, 9 a.m., 8:50 a.m. Yeah, so that's just absolutely horrible for your circadian rhythm and whatnot. So Ohio was one of the states. In 2023, we passed a resolution, which was H.C.R.7, to enact the Sunshine Uniform Act of 2023. And we needed a resolution because under the Uniform Time Act of 1966, it says a state can have the freedom to change to standard time, but not daylight savings time. So you need to submit a resolution to change that. Okay? So Hawaii and Arizona have permanent standard time. Okay? So I don't know what they're going to do if this passes, but we've got to fight to make sure that this does not pass or anything like that. Yeah, so, but since 2015, legislators have introduced 450 bills and resolutions in nearly every single state to either make standard time or daylight savings time permanent. Okay, so there was a similar bill passed in the Senate in 2023, but it stalled in the House of Representatives and without actually going to law. Okay, now there is an awesome website that I want to go over here. It is called SaveStandardTime.com, and basically what you do, you go in there, you can change. It's just USA or Canada or Canada. You pick your state and you pick your city in that state. So I'm doing mine, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. Then you take your wake time, so either from 5 o'clock a.m. to 9:30 a.m. with half-hour intervals. And then you also pick your work-school start time. So I'll just pick 8 a.m. so that my daughter's bus comes at, I think, 7:54, and then my son's comes at 8:45 a.m. And then it will tell you either permanent standard time, the biannual, the 2 a year clock change, and then lastly it'll tell you permanent daylight savings time. So with a wake time of 6:30 a.m. and school or work at 8 a.m., I am getting on permanent standard time. I will wake pre-sunrise 174 days of the year, which is 5.7 months. My work-school pre-sunshine will be 0 days, and on the what we're on now, the 2-time biannual clock change, I would have 278 days wake pre-sunrise, and so that's 9.1 months, and then I'd have 1 day work school pre-sunrise. And then on the permanent daylight savings time, I would have 278 days, which is 9.1 months, so 278 out of 365 days I'd be waking up before sunrise. And then work school pre-sunrise would be 126 days, 4.1 months. And that would be in the darkest and the coldest months of winter. So the suckiest months of the year. And it also gives you the latest winter sunrise that I would have on permanent standard time would be 7:55 a.m. And on standard daylight time it would be 8:55 a.m. So, and then sunrise on permanent standard time, sunrise sunset. Sunrise on permanent standard time would be 5:23 a.m. and sunset would be 7:55 p.m. And then on permanent daylight time, well, this is for today, July 23rd. It would be 6:23, and then sunset would be 8:55. Okay, so pretty cool website. You can change. I mean, my wake time, it's just in the summer where it's 6 and 6:30 a.m. So usually for school I have to get up at least by 7. So my wake time changes based on the year as well. But that's a pretty cool indicator, so I highly recommend checking that out. SaveStandardTime.com. Excellent website. So just go there, enter in your information, and then you can see how basically fucked you would be with the permanent daylight savings time, which we do not absolutely want at all. So I would prefer, I mean, I'm all for them getting rid of the twice a year thing, but if it would be going to permanent daylight savings time or just sticking with the 2-time a year change, I would stick with the 2-time a year change. Because then at least for 6 months, my rhythm would be more in sync with what nature intended. We have a new blue blocking sponsor on the podcast, and it's one that I have been probably testing out for the last 5 or 6 weeks as my primary blue blockers. And these are called Glow Ojo is the company. I know it doesn't ring or slide off the tongue like a normal thing, but Glow Ojo, Gloojo, and they are kind of in the middle of the road when it comes to blue blockers in terms of price, but I haven't noticed any changes in my sleep at all in the last 5 to 6 weeks because my Midwestern is my usual go-to, so that's the most economical one that you can get. But Glow Ojo, they've got the red pair, they've got the orange pair, they've got the day blockers. They also have the clear ones, which you do always want to stay away from the clear ones. Those are scams. Yeah, Midwestern has them. Raw Optics has them. It is a scam. I don't know, Raw Optics does not have them, but whatever. And they've got the fit overs, and they've also got prescription, and they've got the clip-ons as well. So they've got everything that you need. They are a company that does sell they say block the blue light, protect yourself from the UV. So they do have those stupid ass sunglasses, healthy sunglasses. There is no such thing as a healthy sunglass. So, but if you are looking for a more premium blue blocker, so these are definitely more sturdy than the Midwesterns. So these are the Night Ease, but check them out. Improvement Warrior Fitness, or no, it's glowOjo.com, and then to get your discount, Improvement Warrior, all one word, all lowercase, and you can get yourself some nice blue blockers. They do have a quite a catalog of selections for the blue blockers, so definitely check them out. www.glowOjo, GLOOJO. Now back to the show. I mentioned the secret benefit about why they are wanting to do this. A lot of people are saying that it is for it's for the businesses, because when it gets dark at 5 a.m. and the more west you are, it's even earlier, 4:30, 4 o'clock, even 3:30 or p.m. So businesses can stay open later, and make more business and make more money and all that stuff. So it's all about the money, all about the corporations and whatnot. But golf course owners have a lot to lose, especially in the winter, colder months and all that stuff. But like, nobody really plays golf in the winter in Ohio in 0-degree weather, but so it's more like southern states and all that stuff. But just extending the evening hours 1 hour gives you a longer golf season, okay? And that's putting in an extra probably $200 to $400 million around the country for them. Trump owns 17 golf courses, and in 2025 he made $392 million in revenue from those 17 golf courses. So golf lobbying is credited with extending daylight savings time by 1 month in the 1980s. Okay, and permanent standard time would approximately cut basically $1.65 billion lost, or $200,000 per golf course in the United States. So, but golfing, not something that you want to be doing on a regular basis. So I don't. I posted it a while ago, but there was a study that came out that showed the closer you live to a golf course, the higher the incidence of Parkinson's. So and it was significant. I don't know exactly the statistics. So, but I mean, you can probably just Google it and you can find the Parkinson's golf living next to a golf course study, and that will show you. But that's just one disease, Parkinson's. But in order to keep those golf courses looking immaculate in the way that they do, they've got to spray a ton of shit all over it. So, and it's all the time. So, and you're breathing that in, and you've got all the other insults coming from above, the chemtrails and the food and all that stuff, just absolutely destroying you. So, I try to stay away from golf courses, especially now. I probably learned that probably 2 years ago, but yeah, I was before that I was toying with the idea because I saw a golf course not too far from me, and I thought, hey, maybe morning sprints on the golf course. It was like, no, can't do that now. So, and then when we typically went down to Florida, a lot of times we'd stay at Saratoga Springs, and where I would do my morning sun was on a golf course. But yeah, gotta change that now. So remember, all this stuff, the exposure, okay, blue light, the non-native EMF, it's all cumulative. So you've got to just weigh weigh the benefits to the risks and decide, is this worth the risk? Okay, but in my opinion, playing golf all the time, not worth the risks of Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, neurodegeneration, all this stuff, and cancer. I mean, obviously they're spraying glyphosate and all that stuff as well. So that's another thing you've got to look out for. But what permanent daylight savings time does is it matches the sun, and it matches our biology. So it is more, because our biology is supposed to be in line with the sun. The sun is supposed to tell us when to wake us up. That's going to raise certain hormones. And when the sun goes down, that's going to turn on other hormones that are supposed to prepare us for sleep. So my hormone cascade podcast, I don't remember which number it was, but I will link it up in the resources and all that, so you can listen to that one. But that's a good one. And I just did episode 89, went over that meme that I post the most. So in the morning, T3 plus vitamin A equals LDL cholesterol equals, or goes on, T3 plus vitamin A goes on to make LDL. LDL goes on to pregnenolone. Pregnenolone goes on to make every single sex steroid hormone. Okay? But if things are messed up, then that doesn't happen. So if circadian rhythm's off, okay, other things causing that to go off, then that doesn't happen, and then health slowly fades. Okay? But in the summer, I mean, everybody loves that 9 a.m. Sunset on daylight savings time. But I'd be happy to give it up and go to an 8 p.m. and then eventually August, September, 7 p.m. Yeah, just not to have the sun rise in the winter at 8:55 a.m. So that is absolutely insanity to me. So I already get pissed at the 8 a.m. sunrise. I mean, 8:55 would be just fucking ridiculous. So yeah, yeah. I hate winter. I hate the cold. But what do? I embrace it because I know that it benefits me, because I practice what I preach. I learn about this stuff, and I know I feel better than 99% of, well, more than 99% of the population in the winter, especially in Ohio. Okay, so and then there was an article from the American Academy of Sleep Medicine I want to go over here as well. And this was the company that, or the organization that recommends permanent standard time, because it does put us in the right state of biology, and it works more with our circadian rhythm. Yeah, but basically, public health and safety would benefit from eliminating daylight savings time, according to new position statement from the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. The AASM supports a switch to permanent standard time, explaining in the statement that standard time more closely aligns with the daily rhythms of the body's internal clock. The position statement also cites evidence of increased risks of motor vehicle accidents, cardiovascular events, and mood disturbances following the annual spring forward to daylight savings time. And I've done a podcast on daylight savings time and why it sucks. I'll link that up in the show notes as well. But permanent year-round standard time is the best choice to most closely match our circadian sleep-wake cycle, says lead author Adil Rishi, a pulmonology, sleep medicine, and critical care specialist at the Mayo Clinic in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and vice chair of the AASM Public Safety Committee in a release. Daylight saving time results in more darkness in the morning and more light in the evening, disrupting the body's natural rhythm. The position statement, published online as an accepted paper in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine, outlines the acute effects of daylight saving time, which, range from increased risk of stroke and hospital admissions to sleep loss and increased production of inflammatory markers, one of the body's responses to stress. And in addition, studies show that traffic fatalities have increased as much as 6% in the first few days following the change to daylight savings time, and a recently published research abstract found an 18% increase in adverse medical events related to human error in the week after switching to daylight savings time. There is ample evidence of the negative short-term consequences of the annual change to daylight savings time in the spring, says AASM President Kanan Ramar in a release. Because the adoption of permanent standard time would be beneficial for public health and safety, the AASM will be advocating at the federal level for this legislative change. In July of 2023, this article was written, an AASM survey of more than 2,000 adults found that 63% support the elimination of the seasonal time changes in favor of a national fixed year-round time, and only 11% opposed it. Additionally, a 2019 survey by the AASM found that 55% of adults feel extremely or somewhat tired after the spring change to daylight savings time. The AASM position statement on daylight saving time has been endorsed by the following organizations: the American Academy of Cardiovascular Sleep Medicine, the American Academy of Dental Sleep Medicine, the American College of Chest Physicians, American College of Occupational and Environmental Medicine, California Sleep Society, Dakota's Sleep Society, Kentucky Sleep Society, Maryland Sleep Society, Michigan Academy of Sleep Medicine, Missouri Sleep Society, National PTA, National Safety Council, Society for Research on Biological Rhythms, Society of Anesthesia and Sleep Medicine, Society of Behavioral Sleep Medicine, Southern Sleep Society, Start School Later. That's a good idea. Tennessee, especially for the teenagers, high schoolers. Tennessee Sleep Society, Wisconsin Sleep Society, and the World Sleep Society. Are you tired of staring at blue lit screens? Are you tired of having to put iris on everything? Well, Daylight Computer in Argen has come up with the first blue light free and flicker free computer. The Daylight Computer is a tablet, and basically you can do everything that you can do on the iPad with it, except there is no blue light, so you do not need to have filters, you do not need to wear the blue blockers when you are on this tablet. So it is awesome. I have been using it since last June, I believe, and I highly recommend it. So I take it everywhere with me. I sleep with it because my Newcom app is on there. But yeah, highly recommend checking it out. Blue light free is awesome for your kids. I get my kids outside. It's one of the deals that I make them with them so they can watch whatever shows they want to, but they have to be outside. So, of course, we plug into Ethernet. Highly recommend doing that as well if you are able to do that. But improvementwarriorfitness.com/daylight. Use code IMPROVEMENTWARRIOR for your discount. All one word, all lowercase. Otherwise, we need to take a stand against these computing companies because they know what they're doing with the blue light and they know what they're doing with the EMF. Especially Apple knows. But otherwise, improvementwarriorfitness.com/daylight. Use code IMPROVEMENTWARRIOR. Now back to the show. So who is affected most by this change? And I mean, of course, I always say the most important thing for a human's health is sunrise. And that is followed closely by that early UVA sun. So once that sun gets above 10 degrees, UVA comes out, and that's when other things happen. So sunrise, certain things are supposed to happen. Cortisol is supposed to naturally rise to help to wake us up. And then when we see the sun, the actual sunrise with our naked eyes, as much naked skin as possible, then that's going to turn on basically the hormone factory, that what I mentioned earlier, the T3 plus vitamin A equals LDL equals pregnenolone equals every sex steroid hormone. Okay, it's basically just the sunrise is basically the precursor for life, for energy, for production during the day. Okay, and then vitamin A or UVA comes out. Certain things get shut down. Those hormones that were turned on, they get turned down or turned off. That's when melatonin is created, serotonin, dopamine. You have the POMC, the start of the melanin creation, all that stuff. Alpha MSH, beta endorphins. Okay, all that stuff. That's early morning sun. And by pushing it back later, especially in the winter when people don't want to go out at all, it's going to just completely destroy even more people. But that's what they want, because they want you in your addictions. They want you mind controlled. Again, planetmindcontrol.com. Watch that documentary. But that's what they want, because that way they can squeeze more money out of you, get you sicker, get you faster, get you into the medical paradigm, medical merry-go-round quicker and quicker, so they can basically just milk the money out of you until you die. Okay? But they'll with that medical merry-go-round, they'll keep you alive as long as possible, just to keep pulling on those udders and milking you out. Okay, so who's most affected by this? Children, and especially teenagers. Okay, so teenagers, they don't really think about this stuff, so it's super important probably to listen to my sleep podcast, where I give, I think it was 43 or 30, 36 or 43 sleep tips. But yeah, they're addicted to technology, and they're addicted to basically everything that destroys their circadian rhythm, and they're basically trying to find out who they are. They're trying to get into the groups that they want to get into and all that stuff. But that's completely going to destroy them. So I said many times before, I've done posts where I've lived here 8 years now, and some places or some houses that I walk by every single day, I was still discovering 4, 5, 6, 7 years later, there's a teenager in that house. I have never seen them outside. I've never known there was a teenager in there. So, yeah, but younger kids, their circadian rhythm is kind of more intact. So I do let my kids sleep in a little bit more, especially in the summer, because I don't want to. Sleep is the most important thing. So sleep is going to help them grow faster. So they don't really need to see the sunrise, but we do a lot of other things. So right now they're watching TV with an iris, or not an iris screen, with the amber screen on the TV, and they have their blue blockers on. But we do a lot of other things. So children and teens, and natural morning people. So people who say they're morning people. Okay, I don't believe that there's like chronotypes of like you're this, you're that, and you're stuck with that forever. Because if you would have told me I would be waking up for sunrise every single day back in college when I went to bed at 12:30 a.m., it would have been impossible for me to wake up and do the sunrise and whatnot. So on caffeine pills and doing all kinds of stupid things in college and high school and all that stuff. So you can, once you reset your circadian rhythm to how it is supposed to be, everybody can be a morning person, basically. So, but obviously there are probably some genetic dispositions or genetic genes that are turned on that, but if you fix your environment, then things can turn around. So it might just take a little bit more time, but I don't believe that there's like chronotypes and you're stuck with like bear, dolphin, owl, and all this bullshit. Okay. The people are going to be affected higher latitude, so that's the sunrise in the winter is going to be later, and more western sunrise is going to be later in the winter. So, so more darkness, more cold, longer periods of time. Okay, and that could lead into more. Well, of course, it's going to lead into more people getting seasonal affective disorder, because a lot of people are they're not going to ever see the sun for 3 or 4 months in that winter time, because they're going to be traveling to work in the dark, and then they're going to get into their building. They're going to be under blue lights. They're going to be under Wi-Fi. They're going to be under all that non-negative EMF and all that bullshit. So, yeah, expect seasonal affective disorder to basically just skyrocket. Okay, but I've made videos on that. Basically, seasonal affective disorder can be changed really, really quickly if you focus on your circadian rhythm and seeing that sunrise every single day. Other people, you have an existing sleep problem. So you have insomnia, you have sleep apnea, you have any sleep disorder. So when I had anxiety and depression, it would usually take me at least an hour to get to sleep, because I was just thinking constantly of things that I could not control. And sometimes it would just get so bad it would take up to 2 to 3 hours for me to fall asleep. So, but yeah, you are really going to be feeling the effects. Farmers, okay, so farmers basically are out there every single day, and I mean that's going to affect the animals as well, and the quality that the animals produce, because they're on a circadian rhythm, just like, I mean, every living creature is on a circadian rhythm, and if we push things, if we push our circadian rhythm 1 hour out of sync every single day, that's going to have an impact, a major impact. Okay. School teachers, bus drivers, administrators. Okay, because I mean, school typically, most places it starts at 8 a.m. Most people are driving. Most people don't understand. You need to drive with your windows down when the sun is out. I always do it. Windows are always down, dark, sun, whatever. But yeah, so it's a lot of times these teachers, they're constantly in. They don't have breaks. I remember in high school it was 3 minutes to get to the next class. Okay, so they don't have time to take sun breaks. They can't be like smokers and have like a smoke break and go out and have a sun break. Okay, so people who are going to be stuck inside. So people who can't take the appropriate breaks. So I mean, there's things you can do, and there's things that you would have to do if you care anything about your health. So if your window's open the windows in your office. Okay, get grounding cords, get lamps, incandescent bulbs, UVA bulbs, red light panels, all that stuff. But yeah, and just do what you can to your work environment. If you have more questions about that, just let me know. I'll try to do my best to help you in your situation. I mean, everybody's situation is different. Everybody's boss is different. Some bosses are dickheads. Some are more nice. So all depends on what you have. Outdoor workers are going to be more affected. So they're going to have to be working more in the dark, which means they're going to have to use their giant, huge powered blue light. Yeah, so there's giant, I don't know, I forget what they're called. Basically, they're like mini spotlights. So just like a step down from Rockstar's spotlights. Healthcare workers, doctors, nurses. Okay, so you've already got, and they're on shift work as well. So that's going to cause even more problems when their circadian rhythm goes bad. They're going to make worse decisions. Okay, memory loss, all that stuff, early onset dementia, Alzheimer's, neurological problems, because under those hospital lights, usually they got the antennas, the 5G, moving to 6G here real soon. Those are usually on top of the buildings. All hospitals are 5G now, and the hospitals should be one of the first ones to go to 6G. Hospitals, airports, and military would be the first ones to go and support EMS and whatnot. So, yeah, and one. This is unrelated to that, but I mean, shift work, third shift. The studies have come out showing it increases cancer by like 40%, and when like 1 to 2 to 1 to 3 people, so like 33% to 50% are already supposed to get it within their lifetime, and you do something that's going to increase it by 40%, that's not a good sign. But I know somebody who said that they actually like working third shift because there's nobody there in a hospital. So, and they don't have to do as much as first and second shift. So, I mean, I can understand that, but when you understand circadian rhythm, you would never ever work third shift, ever. Here is to a revolutionary approach to indoor lighting that's designed to sync with your natural rhythms, thanks to our friends at Midwest Light Therapy. Imagine lighting that doesn't just illuminate your space, but aligns with your circadian biology, enhancing your sleep, mood, and overall well-being. Circadian-friendly lighting supports your body's internal clock, and this means better sleep at night and more energy during the day. At Midwest Light Therapy, they offer a variety of indoor lighting options that utilize specific wavelengths of light, helping to optimize your mitochondrial function and support overall cellular health. Whether you're working late or winding down, these lights are designed to enhance your environment and boost your health with zero blue light pollution and green light as well. For those of us who are committed to a holistic approach to health, embracing this type of lighting could be a game changer. Check out their selection at improvementwarriorfitness.com/midwestern. Use code IMPROVEMENTWARRIOR, all one word, for a 10% discount. You won't be sorry. Now, back to other people, truck drivers, pilots. So these are the two industries or careers where I know they are testing their melatonin. So melatonin is going to get absolutely trashed with this. Melatonin, cortisol. So cortisol is supposed to be highest in the morning. Melatonin is supposed to be lowest. And then you're supposed to see that morning sun to help make the melatonin to come out later at night. But they're supposed to be polar opposites. So cortisol low, melatonin high. Melatonin low, cortisol high. And that's supposed to happen AM, PM. So, but I mean, you can obviously do things to spike your cortisol anytime during the day. Okay. Other people, retail, food service, hospitality, opening shift. Okay, so if you're dealing with these people are going to be more grumpy. They're not going to be as chipper and whatnot, and they're probably going to be more short. So their tempers are going to fire. I mean, anybody, if this passes, a lot of people are going to be that way. I'm sure I'm not going to be my best either. So I'm going to have to adjust. But that's why I'm putting this information out so we can stop it before this shit starts. And I mean, obviously, 1974, it was repealed rather quickly. I expect if this does pass, it's going to be the same thing. It's because people are not going to want to have their kids going to school and going on buses when it's dark and whatnot, and then all the other negative effects. So, and then that early morning first shift people are going to be affected as well. Shift work sucks. So, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do. But if you are in shift work, and you obviously have to try and find something that is going to be more circadianly in line for your health, because then you're just trading dollars for time, and that's not something that's going to benefit you as you get older. So, and we want to, as we get older, we don't want to get sicker, because that's the time when we're getting wiser and we're supposed to be smarter, and we're supposed to be like the person that helps the entire village grow. But now people are getting older faster, they're addicted to their phones, and they're just getting diseases, and they're just dropping out. So, but that's something, yeah, we gotta fight about that. We have to fight those. They fight the elite, and we have to, because they want a dumbed down population. They want weak, sick people, because that's who they can control. They can't control the strong. They can't control the people who have a purpose and all that stuff. So all the stuff that I talked about. But mindset is it's probably the most important. So on my 14 pillars, I think it's number 3 behind circadian rhythm and breath. Obviously, everything on that list is important, but if we don't have the right mindset, then things are going to go to shit real quick. Other people, women in perimenopause or full-blown menopause. So your body is changing. Again, when you're in those states, your hormones are all over the place and affecting your sleep, affecting your energy. With a 1 hour change every single day is really going to do a number on you. And then lastly, people already who have a disease or multiple diseases. Okay, so yeah, because in my opinion, all diseases can be reversed or the symptoms can be greatly reduced. However, not everybody can be fixed due to their mindset, because some people are just stuck in their dogma, like, I have this disease, it is who I am, it's how I get sympathy, it's how I get noticed, it's just part of me, and they won't change. Okay, but yeah, in my opinion, in order to change those diseases, you need the sun. And you need proper circadian rhythm. And with a shift this big, an hour a day, it's going to be a lot harder. And you're going to have to do things a lot stricter and a lot more in sync. So you can't have as many fall-offs and then get back on. So you can't fall off, get back on, fall off, get back on, fall off, get back on. You've got to be consistent, and you've got to know what you're doing, and you've got to know why you're doing it. Otherwise, you're just going to get sicker and sicker, which is what they want. Okay, but so that's it. Well, what you can do, what I did. So I called my senators today or yesterday. I forget. It was yesterday. Left them a voicemail, sent them an email, but that's one thing that you can do. I will play the message that I created, but and I'll link up in the resources Sarah Kleiner's article on this. So that's where I got that one. I lost it. Shoot. Okay. Hold on, let me try to find it real quick. Confirm you're not a robot. And this is the things too, the little things here. It's like you enter your password, you enter your username, and then they want to text you a fucking code so you can go verify that you are who you are. It's like, I have the fucking password, I have the fucking username, get me in, asshole. Okay. So, mind control. Obviously, I have Iris on my screen, so it's completely red, all that stuff. I do got to get out for sunrise. Don't want to miss that. Where are we? Okay, right here. I'll read it real quick. So the call to action. Okay, where is it? Okay, the call to action. So this bill is not yet a law. It's passed the House and it's in the Senate now, and the Senate's response is genuinely uncertain. But if it passes the Senate, Trump has already said he supports this, so it will be going through if the Senate goes through. The last time the version got through was in the Senate was 2022, then it stalled in the House and then died. So these things do not sail through. So here's what you can do. Call your two senators. So I called Bernie Moreno and John Husted. It says not email, call, but I called first and then I sent an email. The Capitol switchboard is 202-224-3121, and then they will connect you. So, and then you say this in your own words. So, I'm a constituent. I want to end the clock change too, but I'm asking the senators to support permanent standard time, not permanent daylight time. Standard time is what the American Academy of Sleep Medicine and 20 medical organizations recommend because it matches our biology and it doesn't put kids at dark bus stops all winter. Please don't lock in permanent daylight saving time. Okay, and that's it. I changed it a little bit. I'm a constituent. That means you're a resident. So, and resident basically makes you a United States citizen. So yesterday I sent in my paperwork to what is his name? Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State. I sent in my paperwork to officially remove my federal citizenship from the man, Jason Yun. So, and I'll talk more. I've talked about that a little bit, but as I go, I'm thinking about creating a separate Substack, and then maybe I would keep it on this podcast because this is the Improvement Warrior podcast, and my belief is that you cannot truly be healthy if you do not have true health, and in order to have true health, you have to have true freedom. So you have to understand what being a resident means. So I am not a resident of Ohio. I domicile in Ohio. So that's how they kind of get you as well. It's like the perfect sub-world that they have created. They're absolute geniuses about it. And then I've already gone through the anger part and all that stuff. So you go through certain stages of hate, anger, all kinds of emotions and whatnot. But I've already gone through the anger part, so I understand why they did it and why they are still doing it. But so I filled that out yesterday, or sent that in yesterday. And I'll keep you updated on that. But yeah, so I'll post up the actual message that I sent. On one of them, I had to re-record it or shorten it 3 times because the timeline or the time limit that you have is not very long for that. So, So that's it. You're not against the popular part. You're for doing the popular thing in the direction that doesn't wreck everyone's mornings. Then forward this to the people in your life who feel winter the hardest. The northern friend, the one with a teenager, the one who goes quiet and heavy every January. They have a stake in this the most. So I will link up Sarah's Substack as well. The show notes for this will be improvementwarriorfitness.com/permanent-DST. And that is what we want to end. We do not want permanent DST. We want permanent standard time. Or if we don't get either of those, then, the alternative is we just keep switching twice a year. Okay? But, work on your circadian rhythm. Up next is the calls that I made to the senators Bernie Moreno and John Husted. I did take the introduction for Bernie out because it just sounded like echoey garble and gobbledygook and whatnot. So I did have to re-record my original message twice for Bernie and then 3 times for John due to the amount of time that they give you. And notice how on John's introduction, he's always saying, if you are an Ohio resident, he says it like 3 times. So resident places you in their jurisdiction. So that's another thing that I'm learning about and whatnot. So I am not a resident of Ohio. That's why I did not say I am a constituent, like Sarah Kleiner's article said, because I am not a resident. I am not going to be put into the United States. So here we go. And I will have the script up at improvementwarriorfitness.com/permanent-DST or /permanent daylight saving time. And I'll have the link to Sarah's article if you want to use that script as well. Hello, Senator Moreno. My name is Jason Yun. I am an Ohioan in New Albany, Ohio, and I'm a professional circadian rhythm coach. Basically, I work every day helping people align their schedules with their natural biology for better sleep, energy, and long-term health. I am very much against the twice-yearly clock changes. However, I'm asking you, Senator, to oppose the Sunlight Protection Act and instead support permanent standard time. Permanent standard time is the position recommended by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine and more than 20 other leading medical scientific organizations, because it keeps solar noon closest to clock noon year-round, which helps our circadian rhythm the most. And it also keeps morning light available when children are heading to school and bus stops, and rather than forcing them to wait in darkness during the coldest and darkest part of the year. I'm asking you to please vote against permanent daylight saving time and to lock in permanent standard time so we can finally stop disrupting human circadian biology twice a year. My name is Jason Yun, JASONYUN. You can reach me at 614-304-1426 or improvementwarrior@mail.com.
It's 1:30.
Thank you very much for your time.
You've reached the United States Capitol switchboard. Please say the name of the senator or representative that you are trying to reach, or say, "I'm not sure."
Senator John Husted.
Please say the name of the United States senator or representative that you are trying to reach, or say, "I'm not sure."
John Husted.
Which are you trying to reach? You can say senator or representative.
Senator.
To reach your senator, tell me your state or your 5-digit zip code.
Ohio.
Ohio, do you want to speak to Bernie Moreno or
John Houston?
John Husted.
Please speak your selection. You can say Bernie Moreno or
John Houston.
John Husted.
confirming that was Senator.
John Houston.
Did I get that right?
Yes.
Please hold while I connect your call.
Hello, this is John Husted, your U.S. Senator. Thank you for calling my Washington, D.C. office. My Washington office is located in the Russell Senate Office Building, office number 304. I appreciate you taking the time to share your views with me. After the tone, please be sure to indicate your name, street address, zip code, and your comment. Thank you and have a great day.
5. Record your message at the tone, then press pound.
Hello, Senator Husted. My name is Jason Yun. I am an Ohioan in New Albany, Ohio, and a professional circadian rhythm coach. Basically, I work every day helping people to align their daily schedules with their natural biology for better sleep and energy. I am calling to ask you to oppose the Sunlight Protection Act and instead support permanent standard time. Permanent standard time is the position recommended by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine because it keeps solar noon closest to clock noon year-round. And it also keeps morning light available for children going to school and bus stops rather than forcing them to wait in complete darkness during the coldest and darkest part of the year. Again, please vote against permanent daylight saving time and help lock in permanent standard time. My name is Jason Yun. 614-304-1426, improvementwarrior@mail.com. Thank you for your time. Stay strong, stay positive, be the improvement warrior.
You've reached the maximum length for a recording.
Okay, now I'm going to try and send them, find their emails. If you have questions, that's all I have. So thank you very much for listening. Share this out to basically everyone, especially in America. I did see it was a comment, so I'm not sure how accurate it is, but it said the western part of Canada has already decided to agree to permanent daylight saving time. They said Eastern has not voted on it, so I don't know where the split in Canada is. I do have a client or a former client in Edmonton. I'll ask him for some details and whatnot. But yeah, so share this out with everybody that you know in the United States of America. So, but thank you very much for listening and watching. And we're always looking for those reviews. Apple, Spotify will help us the most. That will help the podcast get found, and we can change the world. We can make improvement warriors. We can make mitochondriacs and whatnot. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you do want to support the podcast, support the sponsors and whatnot throughout the show and at the end of the show. Otherwise, I got to hit this and get the final sunset. I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Stay strong. Stay positive. Be the improvement warrior. If you would like to support this podcast, then please visit me on Patreon to become a patron of Improvement Warrior Podcast. The podcast may be free for you, but it definitely is not free for me. So even if it's just $1 pledge or $3 or $50, I would greatly appreciate it. Just search on Patreon for Improvement Warrior or go to patreon.com/Improvement Warrior.